95, where music lives. The views expressed in the following program aren't necessarily those of Power 95. Ladies Room. Come see you compliments. Renwick Thompson and Company Limited. Agents for Western Union.
2 times 2 is 4. 2 times 3 is 6.
Education multiplies their chances and places the world of opportunity in their hands. No matter where they are in the world, make sure they're prepared for their journey back to school with Western Union. School fees, books, room and board, whatever the reason. Knowledge, independence, opportunity. Western Union, moving money for better.
Absolutely no sticking today. Let me just get my share on. You guys shares yet? Please, because today we want to have an open, frank conversation surrounding, today's situation in the room, today's scenario. So, especially on hold on, I'm trying to sure. Give me a second, guys. Alrighty, I'm missing somebody. Okay, a couple folks told me to send them the link when I went live, so that's what I'm trying to do. Where did you go? I swear my eyesight is getting worse when I don't put on my, according to the Jamaicans, when I don't put on my eyeglass. I don't know why they say eyeglass, never glasses. Anyways, guys, how are you? How y'all keeps? Everybody good? Y'all had a good weekend and you're ready to be done with March? I swear March feels like January. It's just like it's just going. A lot of it will just march out, but I don't know, man. March just seems longer than usual. I don't know if it's only me, but March just seems ridiculously long this time around. Anyways, I bid everybody good morning, buenos dias, welcome to the live, welcome to our ladies room, another one, another week, another Monday, final Monday in March. Morning Larry, morning Christelle, Della is here, who else is on the live? Good morning Rita, morning Shante, come on in guys. Good morning Jay, good morning Camille, Stacy, thank you so much, appreciate you. A lot of work, but amazing one indeed. Thank you so much. Sonia, up and running. Morning, Val. Jacqueline, good morning. You ready to do road? Come on in. Good morning, Damien, Senor. Friends out there in Florida. Of what? Cicely, son, what are you talking about? Anyways, Janelle, good morning. Sis, I don't know. March is just ridiculous. It's like you just want to pick it up and be like, let's move, man. Anywho's, come on in, guys, and hit up the live. And I really want, especially the men in the listening audience, to chime in. Because today's situation brings into focus sharply the reason we need more fathers involved in their children's lives. Whether it's a son, whether it's a daughter, this really, really shows how much we need our sons and daughters to have their parents, their fathers present. And not just present, but playing an active role, And like I keep saying to y'all, your first point of reference when you're talking about role model, supposed to be the people who brought you into the world. Stop looking at other people to be responsible for your child or children's upbringing, or to emulate them in whatever way, shape, or form. That is not our responsibility. That is your responsibility first and foremost as a parent. You know, there's just so much happening with young people lately, and it's March 27th and the morality police, they're out in full force already. It seems as though they conveniently show their heads and faces when it's carnival time, and any other time after that, the silence is deafening. There's so much happening on the rock with our young people. There's so much happening. Check the stats. We rank very high where abuse, sexual abuse, domestic abuse, alcoholic abuse, we rank very high where those are concerned. But when you look at certain people making noise and you check their page, there's nothing advocating for laws or advocating for stiffer penalties for perpetrators of rape, children are being raped, etc. Nothing. But we start questioning people's morals based on a costume. The hypocrisy is astounding, I swear. It is absolutely amazing how we're mute on a lot of things that's not kosher on this rock. The blinders are on a lot of things, but it's off for other things. Let it be off for everything. Let's use the same brush. Just paint everything with the same brush. Not pick and choose what to be on our high horses about and things that are even more important, because at the end of the day, these aren't children who'll be, according to folks, wearing strings. It's grown adults, not children. While children are exposed to more things in your own home that you're turning a blind eye to. Get it together. All right. We move. So, a mother needs help. A mother needs our help this morning. So let me see if I can. I'm trying to get the person. She wanted to come on for a bit, but I'm not sure. Alright, so I might probably have to kind of start and probably will get her to fall in. I'm accustomed with that. So she wants to know how to deal with this situation where her 12-year-old son, let me backpedal a bit. So she says that she found porn on her son's phone, and her son is only 12 years old, and she's not sure what to do, and she's asking, is this normal for his age? She wants to know, what should she say to him? Should she say anything? What should she do? I'm not sure if we can look at him the same anymore. She said it was pages and pages of hardcore porn. She says, I'm not even sure how he got into porn. I don't know what to do or how to feel. I'm concerned he's been doing it behind my back. What else is he keeping from me? Help a mom out. That's why I said, right there and then, because you saying that kind of showed that his father is not present in his life, because there was no mention of it. So that's what I was trying to ask her. Okay, right. Well, I was right. So his father is not there. All right. That's what I was typing away to ask, because I realized after posting that piece of information was missing. So his father is not present in his life, so she's a single mother. How does a single mother go about having the birds and bees conversation? Because if you realize we're into this, we're a Christian society, and as much as people do it, and this is something I say all the time, we don't necessarily talk about it. And that is the way we were kind of raised, that sex is not something you speak about openly, especially as a woman, because it makes you look loose and somewhat of a bad woman if you were to discuss it or want to know more about it. You just did it, then you see somebody pregnant, and they gave us all this old story, your bird bring your hand, you fall from the sky, and you come out in an egg, and all kind of Nancy stories. How many of you actually had your parent, if you were to ask, says, just to let you know how conception comes about, how you were conceived, and what happens, childbirth, anything? It's always some old story. But the advantage we have now is that back then we didn't have the internet. We didn't have much resource materials to go to for information. Yeah? But now that we have access to the internet, smartphones, you didn't have phones. Probably if you're lucky, you had a phone back in the day, but you weren't able to go on online. Was more to text and call and play a little game on it, and that's about it. But now that, and that is the thing that I keep saying to parents, you can't keep giving your children smartphones and they're smarter than you about their use, and you don't even know how to use it. Now if a child has a smartphone, right, a phone that he has access to the internet, in your son's case has access to go on any website and pull down these videos, and you don't have access to it. So most times a lot of parents just give their children phones and they don't even check to see or monitor or even have any security, don't even know how to lock certain things on their phone or prevent them from accessing certain pages. You just here's a phone, and they're basically left to their own devices. So they're exposed to everything on the internet. Who's monitoring them? Who is policing them? Because it's there. It's a lot of, you just at Google, type in what you want and it pops up everything that you need. So if you don't have the conversation, they're gonna go about pulling anything and everywhere, and sometimes it's not even what you want them to know. So why is it so difficult to have a conversation? And again, yeah, it might be more comfortable for mothers to have the conversation with their daughters and fathers to have the conversation with their sons. But with so many single mothers, single parents, where do we even start to get there? Unless you involve a family member, you bring in an uncle or a brother to have the talk with him if you're not comfortable. That's what I'm saying. Someone is saying she could download a security app that will block all access to porn sites. But the thing is, that's my point again. A lot of the times they don't even know how to. So you probably need to go to some tech guy, some computer tech, whatever, and let them show you how to do it. Because at 12 years old, having your child willy-nilly all over the internet and putting in everything and having, according to you, pages of hardcore porn on his phone, I'm sure it's a cause for concern. And you're asking if that is normal. Well, I don't have a son, so that is where we're relying on those of you who have sons, probably that age or older. What was that like? And the majority of the responses say that it is normal, especially now. They're more curious. Everything now, it's, it's like it's right in your face, so they're more curious. And that curiosity will send them to places to find information that may not necessarily be the information you want them to find at a particular age. I'm not saying that as a parent you need to at 5 and 6 years old. It has to be age friendly. There's so much you can tell. But again, children are so smart. Like I was saying to you guys last week, imagine looking at my little niece. Could barely even say 2 words. And she's on the phone. Somebody's calling me. And Mrs. declining the call because she's looking at Coco Puff? Coco somebody. Is it Coco Melon? Somebody. And she pressed decline. I'm like, you're 2. What do you know what hitting decline? How do you know that's the button to cut off the call so you can look at this Coco person on my phone? So they're fast. They know how to find these things. So you have to have age appropriate conversations with them. Not just saying at any age you just start talking about sex and this, that, or that part of the body. As they get older, you increase the level of what they need to know. But just simply not saying anything and hoping. There's a lot of parents who are just sitting back and hoping that their children are not engaged in sexual activities. They're just hoping without having the conversation. You can't hope. You can't take it for granted. No, there's peer pressure. There's same video. There's all sorts of information out there. So you have to have the conversation at some point. Fathers, you need to have the conversation with your boys. They're getting curious. Their bodies are changing. Let me see what's here. Morning. Good morning. Okay, you can return the call. Yeah, their bodies are changing. The type of food they're eating, they're developing faster. A 12-year-old doesn't look like a 12-year-old anymore. Back in the day, you could know when it's a 11-year-old, a 10, 9. These days, you look at these children and they look almost like 18, 19, going about their business. So that's why you have to be very careful engaging them, especially when they're not in uniform. They actually look older, more mature than the actual age. But I'm not sure why you can't look at him. Sometimes y'all crack me up, I swear. Good morning.
Hey, good morning.
Morning.
You don't have the old time teaching from young parents now, eh? Now I see these things like out of hand. Right? And we need to bring on that. We're not trying to get back to basics. They haven't too much access. Children nowadays have too much access. It's like, you have to go somewhere, you just go on. You don't question them down to find out where they're going with, how long they will be and what's not, and they just talk you. You do all these things on them as before. So children nowadays, they have too much of leeway. I see all this here. I mean, at 12 years, it wasn't fun. For me, it was a little too early. Because I mean, so it's hard for fun, I mean, you were watching that long before 12. Understand?
You just happen to see it now.
Yes, I think, and if parents don't check up on children before, I go in the school. I start and I bag up the right. They don't have all this to take what they want.
The connection is crazy, man.
Check up on them. I'm doing their own thing. Once they are doing their own thing, expecting it's going to happen, and she being ashamed, she can't watch her son.
Imagine that.
She can't look to her son at that. I mean, something wrong with that. I mean, they don't understand that they're young boys.
It's a young man. At some point, I mean, you think you're going to shelter him forever and he's going to be like a virgin all of his life. At some point, he's going to be out there. So it's important that he goes out with the information so he can make informed decisions.
Exactly. And something I saw my brother mom did it. At an early age, she started giving condoms. Although she spoke to him about abstinence, right? She gave him condoms because at the end of the day, you can't control a child. You tell them as much as you want, you cannot control what to do.
They still make their own decisions.
As much as she wants him to abstain, she still will, at the end of the day, give him something to protect himself. So at the end of the day, mothers have to have their children, the boy children. Boy children is nice to their mothers. They just have to have them as a good friend. Once they get a good friend, they will tell you every living thing.
You're right.
Every living thing is there to know.
Yeah, so they will not feel uncomfortable having the conversation. They'll be able to come to them with anything.
You have to build that trust.
You have to build that trust.
That's gone. Once they build that with them, they come and tell you everything.
You're right.
Every living thing they come and tell you.
Gotcha. Alrighty. Thanks so much. Appreciate it. Come on, guys. Come on in the room. Someone here is saying a simple conversation is all it needs about how you feel as a parent and also about how he feels about it. As a male, when I was that age, it was about curiosity and simply wanted to know about sex. But knowing how adults would react, you would hide. So I would prefer to have the conversation and educate my son about it to avoid the wrong persons getting them the wrong information and encourage the things they are not ready for. This person here is saying she could, yes, I believe she should talk to him about it because she has to remember to educate him about it when you're a teenager and you're around friends who've been exposed to that. He would want to experience it, so she needs to have a conversation with him because she has to steer him in the right direction. And she could download a security app that blocks all site relating to pornography. Someone says, get help to talk with her son, put security measures on his phone, engage more with her son, limit alone time. They say the devil finds work for idle hands and minds. Counseling for both of them. This can wrap his impressionable mind at a very young age. Someone says, what were we as kids doing at that age? It's a very good question. At 12, 13, we knew the appropriate use of obscene language. We knew about sexual images on Punch newspaper long. Mild sexual acts like kissing, but seeing similar content on social media, Twitter, IG, YouTube, and other media like Netflix. What age do we expect him to have his first kiss? He needs to not be so sheltered. And I think that is the case. You see, and I'm getting the impression, well, not impression, that he is an only child. That's one of the questions I ask her. Well, let me just check to make sure before I say anything that is not correcto. Okay, so there we go. Now I understand why she feels the way she feels. 1, that is her only child. 2, she's a single mom. Father is nowhere in the picture. So she's probably one of those parents, and I hope this isn't going to offend you, no disrespect intended, who shelters their child. Because it's, you know, when you have a one and only piece of child, that's your world. And father is missing. So now I get why she said she doesn't know what to do or how to feel. First, to begin with, that is your child, your son. All right? It's not your companion. It's your child. Your son. So that alone should let you know there are certain things you have to be prepared for. Puberty, curiosity, everything you can think about, and it comes at a rapid pace. There's no time to breathe. As you jump into the teenage years, it's full speed ahead. So you can't continue to shelter him and hope that he wouldn't find out, or he wouldn't know, or he wouldn't engage in these things. Yes, we understand you might want you're overly protective because that is your one child. But at the end of the day, he's also his own little man, his own person. So what you probably want for him may not be the same what he wants for himself. The most you can do is continue to guide, right? But like the caller said, you can teach, you can read and spell, you can do everything. At the end of the day, they're still going to make their own choices. But let those choices be informed ones. So they make the right choices, not just, okay, that's what I feel like, so I don't know anything about it, so I'm just going to do what I feel like and what makes me feel good. I'm going to forward it to her. Someone sent me a list of sites, the block porn, what's the name of it? Screen Time, Spin, quite a number of them. Kids Locks, block porn, anti-porno, stop adult websites. All right, so I'll share that with her. That's a start. But again, it comes back to, again, the fact that parents are just handing their children phones. And they themselves don't even have access to the phone. It seems as though you do because you said you found it on his phone. So it's important that even though you give your child a phone, that you have access to the phone. You know the password, and you can check on it anytime without any notice. And ain't nothing about privacy. Remember I told you guys about my dad? At that age, about privacy? Remember I told you how when locking door and you're in a room, and they have to come knock for you to come on. The man removed the door and put a curtain. So there was no privacy. Curtain was blocking the room door. That's all the privacy I needed. The man took his door off the hinges. And there you go with curtain. So as much as you want them to have privacy, you are still in control. They're not earning a dollar. They're not contributing to anything. They're still under your care. They're still under your guidance. When they fly the coop and they're on their own, it's whatever. But as long as they're under your roof, you have a right to guide them in the best way possible. And periodic checks of the phone is one of those things you need to do as a parent. Because they're quick. Trust me, they're quick. Good morning.
My dear,
Hi,
good morning.
morning.
How are you doing?
I am great. Hey, you get back your phone or what?
Yeah, my mother take it because she was going through and she found some stuff that she wanted to ask me about.
Curfew lifted?
You see, always look for things, always look for trouble. You see, always look for trouble.
So
I
you're
call
the best
night, I
person to
talk
have a
you
nice
night.
conversation with because you're a boy dad. You have sons, right?
Yes.
Right.
Two handsome sons, don't forget that.
Oh.
Please put that in there.
Thank God for the mothers. But moving on.
They both look like me. Go ahead. You're buying your confusion, eh? Right.
So at 12 years old, what was that like? Did you ever get to have the talk with your sons?
Let me get a joke. My first son was about, I can't remember. He could have been about 11, 12. I can't remember. And his mom called me. She was having a cow. She sees pornography on. I see pornography on your son's phone. He goes,
Did you stick on yourself, eh? Your son phone.
hold on. So here was the first question I asked her. What was the pornography? Was he looking at boys or was he looking at girls?
You got to get out of the way fast.
Yeah. First thing. She said, well, girls, of course. I say, right. Well, we're on the right track. You know what I'm saying? First things first, we're on the right track. No. How graphic was it? She said, well, I look at it. I said, well, baby, you have to look at it, you know. Because by looking at it, you will understand where his level is.
Mm-hmm.
Because you have to know where his level is. So you have to look at it. So I said, look at it. And when you feel comfortable, call me back. Because I don't know if looking at it may have... I don't know. So I say, when you feel comfortable, call me back. I choose my words carefully.
Mm-hmm.
And I got the return call.
Mm-hmm.
I said, right, well, you're comfortable now. Not really, but yeah. I said, okay, fine. Here's what's happening. This is going to happen. Right? I say, every man at some point in his life would have done that. I'm quite sure every woman too.
You
But
know
I
much,
could only
you
speak
much
for
Sunday
men.
Punch magazine my brother and them used to hide below mattress?
Yeah, I used to work in the punch. Anyhow. Yeah. So after years, them things don't bother you no more. I grew up in the media, so anyhow. Fine. So when we got to that stage, I said, all right. And I said, sit down and have a conversation with him. He living with you. I tried to take myself out, but that didn't work. So I had to reinsert myself back into the picture and say, all right, no problem. I'll go hand it from there. Because sometimes you have to leave people to do things that you know they can't do, so they know they can't do it. So when they're talking, you go tell them hush up because you couldn't do it. Yeah, that. So I dealt with it. We had the conversation and everything normal. And it was a normal conversation. Today,
But what was it like? What did you say to him? What he needs to know? Was he comfortable with it? Was he accepting
well,
of?
first of all, you see, and this year now we go to the parent who have the issue.
Mm-hmm.
First things first, you have to let your children know that there's adult behavior and then there's children behavior. You have to instill in that what you are looking at is not children stuff. It is adult stuff. Therefore, you are stepping a little too fast.
Mm-hmm.
They need to understand that they do not need to be ridiculed for it, because if there's something to hide, then there's something to look for.
Mm-hmm.
We have to get that clear.
Mm-hmm.
So you don't hide, but you speak in phases, because you don't teach a 5-year-old algebra, or you teach him 1 and 1 is 2.
Mm-hmm.
So there's different levels
As I
of
said, age-appropriate conversations. As you move along, the higher you go, you know what sort of conversation to have.
You know that the words are trying to find you a happy day. Let me use the word.
Mm-hmm.
So when you get to that stage, you have the 12-year-old level conversation. and then you start to border on the 15-year-old conversation. So you always try to keep them just one step ahead, so that will X out the possibility of the dangerous experiment. Because if they know, then there's nothing to experiment. But if they don't know, then there's reason to experiment. I wonder if you follow me.
Yeah, I'm following you.
Right? So if there's something to hide, then there's something to look for. So you have to understand that balance.
But you also have to let them know there's nothing wrong with the way they're feeling. It's natural. It's part of the process of getting there.
What I was saying, it's a normal thing. You have to let them know that this is, you don't ridicule them for it, right? So this is it's normal. You will feel that way, but there's a time for it. What you are getting into is adult stuff, and you're not there yet. So let us get you there, but let us get you there in the right frame of mind. And far too often we hide too many things from our children. I told my teenage sons when they're just getting involved to be teenagers, I will teach you to drive. No, you're not old enough to have a license. You're not old enough to drive the car, but I will teach you to drive, because you see, there might be a night I go lie down sleeping or fall asleep in the glass right next to me. I don't start to take little coffin shape, as a partner say, and my boy go decide you want to thief the car to go online. My thing is that if he thief in the vehicle to go online, he must be able to go and come back safely.
To teach about at a younger age, so you're armed with the information. You're not just going out there willy-nilly, but you're actually informed, so you can make informed decisions. That's what I'm stressing on. But pretending and not wanting them to know anything and just throwing them out in the world,
that is a problem.
That is a problem.
That is a problem. You're creating a monster. You're creating a monster, because if there's something to hide, there's something to look for. And you don't want your children going and looking and finding out from the wrong people. So this is a conversation that I had as a father with both my sons, and they understand that. You know,
Gotcha.
I am not going to have that. That is not a conversation I would have with my daughter. I would let my mother do that. Yes,
Gotcha.
because, and one of the things I want to tell women, you can teach your son to be a boy,
But not to be a man.
but it takes a man to teach him how to be a man.
That's why we need more fathers involved in the picture, because now with so
that-
many single mothers,
and it
it's
goes the other way
problematic.
for girls and dads.
Gotcha.
There are a lot of girl dads outside there, but you can't teach your daughter to be
How
a
to be a
woman. It's a
woman.
woman's job.
Got you. Thank you.
All right? I'll
Alrighty.
send you the bill a little bit later on.
Goodbye. As this person says, I understand that it is a difficult and sensitive situation, and it's understandable to feel confused and unsure of how to handle it. It's essential to have an open and honest conversation with your son to understand what he has been exposed to and how he feels about it. And while it's common for adolescents to be curious about sexuality, it's also essential to educate them on healthy and safe sexual behaviors and to set clear boundaries and expectations for what is and isn't appropriate. Yeah? So you may also want to seek guidance from a therapist or other professionals specializing in adolescent behavior and development to help you navigate the situation. I know we used to do it in school. I'm not sure to what extent they're doing it now, but it didn't go into detail. It just gave you, the basics. So that is where you come in. You can't expect society and the school and everybody to do everything. Everybody can't parent your child for you. The onus lays on you. The bulk of the responsibility is on you. Because whatever happens, they're coming to you, your house, your home. Yeah? So if you're uncomfortable having the conversation on your own, probably you might engage a therapist or some other professional specializing in adolescent behavior and development to help you navigate this situation. And remember that your son needs your support and guidance as he navigates this challenging time, and that he's not alone in this experience. So you saying you can't look at him the same, don't make him feel bad, because what you have essentially done is made him feel like he's doing something wrong, or how he's feeling is immoral or wrong, or whatever the case might be. It is a complete natural feeling. He's a human being. Like you said, the hormones are kicking in. They're getting bigger the body maturing faster. So you can't turn a blind eye and hope that it's not happening. Confront it, nip it in the bud, arm them with the information so they can make better choices. Yeah? It is completely normal. This person says if you haven't had the conversation with him about sex, now is the time, and be as transparent as you can, including what's appropriate. If he has a male figure in his life, he'd most likely feel more comfortable having that conversation with them, then do it. Mine is 11 and my turn is right around the corner. Last week I asked him what he knows about the subject and initiated the conversation. In return, he asked if he could have that conversation with Daddy since he's feeling uncomfortable. I respected his request. Yeah? Another person says curiosity and inspires. It's actually quite not common, and with the existence of smartphones that didn't exist in our time, it will be easier to come by. Now it's time to have conversations about sex, pregnancy, sex health with him. Also speak with him about the dangers of porn addiction, because getting addicted to porn, especially at a young age, is not good for the mind. I like that. Another person says, since it's normal that teenagers and tweens are interested in sex as they become self-aware, just have a talk with them. Back in the day, they used to steal their elder brothers or fathers' Playboy or Hustlers magazines and share pages between classmates. So it's not new, but the approach has to be similar. Talk to them so they understand what it is all about. And one more thing, check the source. Was it from an elder person, male or female, grooming him, classmates, relative, or has it been him being solely curious by himself and actively searching for such things? Was this sent to him even if he didn't ask for it? The answers to those will inform in large part to the discussion ahead. Yeah? And also handle with caution. Someone says if these are not conversations that were regular, the twin is already on the defensive. Tackle the why not appropriate first and try to get to a point of him realizing you are upset at the situation, not him personally, and move forward. If the source is a groomer, they probably already created insecurities about how parents would react, and the child would be conflicted. To give them up and have a bad result be their fault. If the source is another child wrongly exposed as well, he would be afraid of betraying his friend. And if that friend is the one being groomed, it can have unfortunate ripple effects if not handled properly. First is to get over the shock, the discomfort of seeing your baby with, adult content, and reassure him that, yes, you're still my baby, but you're realizing he's growing up faster than you're ready for, but you have to be there to guide. Someone says, I saw porn, oh my gosh, on my daughter's tablet, and she's just 9 years old. It reached a point where her mom was using her tablet and sent nude pics, blah, blah, blah. I didn't say anything to my daughter up to this point because she's just 9 years old, but I started a different conversation that would eventually lead to the discovery of the videos on her tablet. I say this to say you need to understand your children in order to have those conversations, because you need to know at what point you need to address certain issues without making them feel less of a person, because children are also very sensitive and emotional as well. So she needs to figure out the right approach and have a conversation with him. It says, because now my 9-year-old daughter tells me everything without me asking. So you have to create that bond where they're comfortable coming to you and not seeking information in other places from other people. Someone says we were not saints at that age either. Of course not. Secondary school level education type conversation of what is acting versus reality, adult entertainment, what is healthy, and about abstinence, masturbation, oral sex at its risk, and full sexual act, and STD's risk. Avoid him being driven in any one negative direction by his classmates and peers. Listen to you about BT after dark. Just used to get up and put on the TV and turn on the volume. HBO, Cinemax, and video cassette from rentals. I remember they used to send you I always used, listen, from day one, it's not now people taking me and Papi Show me in them. Because I was the only girl for a while with my brothers. So I was like the go-to person to do all their misdeeds. I remember they would send us, when we had the cassette players, the video cassette players, they would send me to rent the video cassettes, and they would give me a list of the movies they wanted, and there were names of movies that I didn't realize were actually porn. And going to get it, the person would ask the guy who did the rental asked me who sent me to get the videos, and like my brothers. And he's like, how old is your brother? I'm like, I think my brother is like 19, 20 thereabouts, or 21, 20, somewhere thereabouts. And he was like, okay. It's only after the fact I realized at a certain point we would watch all the movies. It was First Blood, Rambo, what's it, the big strap it, Arnold, what it names, Schwarzenegger, all them action movies. And I realized at a particular time they would tell me to go and play. And they would lock up the entire house, lock up the doors. So like one day I got curious. I'm like, why after we finished watching, like, because I'm the one who went and got the movie. So I know we got like 5 movies. So we sat and we watched 5. And especially when school is on holiday, so parents at work, whatever. So I would be the person they would send. They would stay home and send me all down the road to go rent these videos. But I'm coming home with 5 cassette players, cassettes, video cassettes. But they're telling, we watch all 5. But when it's time to put in the last one, they would always tell me, go across by my girlfriend, my little friend Tracy next door. And I keep wondering why. So one day I'm like, you know what? Let me come back and see. So I stood on the step, on the ledge, and I peeped. Because we could have like the thick curtains. You had like the sheer curtains. So I'm standing there with my little hand and my little tin foot hang on to the baluster and peeping through the window. And tell me what I saw. And all 4 of them sitting there, glued, their eyes like hard. I'm not talking soft porn, I'm talking hardcore. So that's why I had to go outside and go. And they locked, I'm telling you, they locked down that house, battened down, windows locked, doors locked, back and front. The insider is sweating, and they would not open the window or the door. I'm outside knocking, open the door for me, please, I want something, and they would not do it. If ever they had to, they would take it out, pause it, at black screen, and they're looking at me like a hawk to make sure I came and hurrying me up to get whatever I needed to get out of the house. So it's not today that is happening. And again, back then, nobody had the conversation with them either. Your parent back then ain't talking to you about your sex conversation with your parents was, don't bring child in my house. Man as well as woman. The end. No, nothing about safety, safe time of your side. None of that. Your parents' sex talk was, don't bring child in my house. Don't bring child in my place. The end. Do what you wish with it. There was no conversation then either, but now, as a parent, you realize where they went wrong, right? So that should put you in a better situation to want better for your children and not hide. Yeah? So have the conversation. It might be uncomfortable, and like I said, if you're not comfortable, if you can get the assistance of a family member, a male family member, that will be fantastic. Sheena says again, I like to preach parenting is not just a financial struggle. You have to raise a whole human. This is not an easy task. It's not just providing food, clothing, and shelter. It's about developing them as well, mentally, socially, you name it. Yeah? Well, at least they protected me. Listen. So what I started doing was when I went to get the cassettes, I would start looking at the names to see which one. Because you know they always had some funny names. Oh boy, it's not time for us to go, but before we do, let me hear what this person is saying on the... Someone says she needs to build a tougher skin and not be repelled by his actions. Let me touch your phone line quick. Good morning.
Morning.
Good morning.
Hi, you hear me?
Yes, we're hearing you.
All right. So let me just be brief. There's 2 elements we did not get a touch on this very important topic.
Which is?
One, she needs to identify, again, how far along or how serious the level of hardcore pornography is considered. And what type, if it's traditional, as in heterosexual, homosexual, if it's bestiality, varying, right? Find out how hardcore it is, because trust me, 20 years ago, 30 years ago, secondary school, what we considered hardcore then, which was, I think, was a triple X rating, double X, X rated, compared to rated R. We were teasing, looking forward to something like rated R, which is mild nudity or sexual content, compared to now, where it's expected that R-rated is like standard. They're walking into the local movie theater with friends, seeing the same thing. I know some adults tend to be a bit naive about what hardcore is. Everybody have their own perception of what hardcore is. So find out exactly how deep he is into it. One, if he is, as Jason said earlier, if it's heterosexual, if it's gay, find out what type it is, the risk associated with that, educate him as well. And last but not least, the dangers of social media and technology. It goes hand in hand. Yes, in our day we had a magazine, a newspaper, or we waited until certain hours in the night for the cable TV to show certain things, pay-per-view and all kinds of things. Yes, but no, because it's on a device, that's one. And even if she blocks his phone, that does not always add the true solution. You can get it from friends. You can talk to other people about it. That's commonplace between peers. Oh boy, my mother catch me doing this. Well, okay, well, you get catch, I don't get catch. This is what I have, and this is how they share among themselves as boys. I'm talking as coming from secondary school and understanding how the process came along not too long ago. Certain things change, yes, but a lot of things do stay the same. The importance of understanding how technology impacts these things now is compared to before. Kids were doing things. Young people were doing things. A lot of other things. Some things were innocent, some things were severe. I had cases where friends would have had, as you say, tapes leaked of them doing acts in very rare cases back then. That's about 3-4 decades ago. Very rare cases. Now it's commonplace. Every week you're seeing something leaking. Let them understand the importance of being careful. So even if they do decide to be curious, they have to be very careful. Once it goes on the internet, it's forever. And that's it for me.
Alrighty, thanks so much. Have a good one. Alrighty. So that's about all the time we got today. Let's see. Oh, let me stick this last. I'll see you guys. What happened tomorrow? Oh, okay.
Aruna, good morning. The internet now have its good and it have its bad, because the other day I was going through my son's phone and I saw this little lady skin up. I saw it a couple times and I was like, boy, what you looking at? And he said, Mommy, something I went and watched, and this ad keep coming. So all of you try to protect your children and maybe bar some stuff on the tablet or the phone, the ad popping up with a set of naked men, naked women, even children, little naked children. So we as parents have to be very careful, monitor the tablet, monitor the phone. We have to keep monitoring because it's our job, it's our duty. Well, I'm like a police, so I always checking and I see this woman skinning up. I wondering what's going on, And when I did, I for myself went up on the same thing when he went on with my phone, and this just keep coming on my phone, keep popping up. So we have to be careful and monitor the phones, monitor the tablets, monitor the laptop and everything.
Gotcha. Alrighty, so a lot of information, and there's a lot of amazing advice on my post. So guys, so I guess you can continue to. She's definitely reading them, so that helps. So remember, guys, have the conversation. Alrighty, so I will see you all tomorrow, same time, same place for another show. Until then, stay powered up. Thank you so much to our friends at Western Union for making this show possible once again. Happy Monday, everybody. See you guys tomorrow.